Okay, good evening, everybody. I know we always have people that come on last minute, but thanks for being on right away this evening, you guys. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm so excited for this call tonight. So excited. I'm really just going to get right to it. I don't have many announcements at this point. Hi, Laura. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Jen. So we're just going to get right to it with our guest tonight, you guys, because I just really want to make the most of this. So we have a new Pro 7 within LifeVantage. There are so many new rank advancements in the month of October. As you all saw, Rachel Jackson hit Pro 10. We haven't had a Master Pro 10 in the last 4 years, maybe 5 years, they said, in LifeVantage. So that is huge for all of us. And then also Marilee Marisic hit Pro 8. I adore that woman in her heart. And Becki Taylor is on Marilee's team, and she hit the rank of Elite Pro 7 last month. And I cannot wait for you to hear her story. I don't know how many of you are on the Monday morning call, but she was just phenomenal. And I think that was just a taste of what she can share with us. So Becki Taylor is a wife to an amazing, supportive man. She's a mom of 4 grown kids, 2 grown step-loves. I love how you say that. 10 grandkids, glittles, still a busy real estate professional of 18 years. People are her thing, and her husband calls her a people collector. Her main passions, however, are her faith in God. We love that here at Team Act, Becki. Loving her family well and leaving them a legacy of love and faith, and encouraging people to be their best self. And in her spare time, haha, just kidding, I don't have much of that, she says, but reading and personal development and mentoring her team are on the top of her list. Hence her slogan, hashtag I am Becki and hashtag be you. And it's BECKI if you want to follow her on Facebook. So with that, I asked Becki to come on tonight, you guys, just because I know her heart for the Lord, for one, and she has such a beautiful heart, but I also know she has a story of perseverance that we all can learn from. None of us have an overnight success here at LifeVantage, and it's a journey, and everybody's journey is completely different. And I love it when we get to hear from people that don't have that overnight success, and it's maybe taken a little longer than others, or they've been wanting it for quite a while and it didn't happen, but God knew the right timing and then it happened perfectly. So Becki, with that, thank you for being on the call tonight. And I would love for you just to share with us how LifeVantage came into your life and why you said yes to it.
Well, probably similar to many of you, I had at the time, it was just an acquaintance that popped into Messenger. And literally all they said was, have you seen this video that's being shared around? And I'm like, no, what video? And they're like, let me share it with you. And that literally was it. It was just that simple. This was back in October of 2015. And I turned on at the time, it was ABC Live It. For those of you that are back in the ABC Live It days, that's all they had back then. And I watched this video and my jaw hit the table. I was sitting at this very same table that I'm at now, a little bistro table in our home. My jaw hit the table and I'm like, I literally was like, you've got to be kidding. You've got to be kidding. They've got to be kidding. I mean, this is my response. I was like, so like, what? And I'll tell you why, because I had a history of understanding free radical damage in your blood from 30 years prior. You guys, this is about understanding that you never know where a person is at, what they've gone through, what they know or what they don't know. When this dropped into my life, 30 years prior, I was pregnant with my firstborn, and I cut myself really deep, and I was a pastor's wife at the time. And I was a little bit of afraid to tell my then husband that I'd cut myself really deeply, and I knew I needed stitches, but I didn't get them. And I just sealed it up the best I could, and I have this scar. I looked down at my scar. There it still was. This was all in that same moment. And I watched my body heal from the inside out. But I'd been learning about these free radical little Pac-Man scavengers and stuff. And anyway, and I'm like, I want my blood to be good to help my baby grow. That's what I knew about free radical damage. And then I thought, when my body healed itself so magically, I thought I said these words into 1985, I said, if somebody could just heal the blood, God would have a powerful way to be able to heal the body, because I watched my body heal itself, and I'm like, the body, and I knew God created our body to heal and repair itself. And I'm like, if they could just heal our blood, that's all I knew of free radical damage, our body would really be able to do it. 30 years. So stop that conversation. 30 years, almost to the month, because I had my daughter in February and I was pregnant. So 30 years later, I get this video and I'm like, they did it. They did it. Somebody has done it. They found a way to heal our blood. That was my knowledge of what we had at the time. And then within 2 weeks from that point, then I actually messaged Marilee. I'm like, Marilee, what's going on? It was not Marilee who introduced me. It was somebody completely different that to be honest with, I probably wouldn't want to do business with. But I called her and she's like, I hate to say this, but I've already just joined this company and I'm headed to Phoenix, Arizona. Let me see if I can get you there. And sure enough, I went there. I hadn't seen a little yellow pill. I hadn't done any more research than the ABC Live It, and I showed up at an event. Hence the power of events. Holy cow. I sat there with my arms folded going, I'm not sure if I want to get involved in a network marketing company. I'm not sure if I want to do this. I'm entering into my busiest year in real estate. 2015 was my busiest year, bumper year in all the years of real estate. I don't know if I have time for this. But I was watching Fannie Mae on stage and all these people and tell their stories, and the doctors, and we had just gotten just 6 months prior, Darren Jensen, and I was seeing the quality and the stature and the culture and the faith and the professionalism. I'm like, oh my word. And by about 2 days before I actually signed up, because we had, I think it was a 3-day event there. So I was 2 days into it. That's when I met Carrie Dickey, and she's like, do you trust me? And I'm like, I don't know you, but I'll choose to trust you. And I did. And I dove in with a platinum package. I didn't even know what to do. I just ran stupid. And I had about 40 customers my first 30 days. And I ranked myself out in my first 30 days to like a pro 3, I think it was, because I'd gotten 2 distributors and 39 customers in the first 30 days. And I'm just running stupid. I didn't know what to do with all these people. I just kept going. And then I ranked a pro 4, I think, my next month or so. And I'm just like running. I didn't even know what to do with it on the business side. I just kept sharing. I was crazy about it. Anyway, so that's kind of how I entered into it. And then I kind of continued to re-rank. And about 1.5 years into it is when I hit pro 6. But I'll tell you what, on the journey there, I have to say, for those of you that are on this call that may be a pro 1, a pro 2, pro 3, pro 4, I would meet people at these elite academies. And I met a lot of people, and they're like, I didn't really even really understand about all the rankings. I didn't understand a lot for quite a long time, to be honest. And I'm like, so what are you? And they're like, I'm a pro 3. And I'm like, how long have you been with the company? And they'd say 7 years. And I'm like, that is amazing. I was so in awe of people that had been in this company for 3 to 5 to 6 years that were only pro 2s and pro 3s. Some were pro 1s, and they had never gone any further, but they're at an elite academy and they're still with this company. As a professional, I'm like, that's retention. That's belief. These people are at an event. They're still sharing, but maybe they're not having the successes like other people do quickly. And I look at them, and I grab their shoulder, and I'm like, I don't know you, but you're my hero. And I pull them in and give them a big hug. You are my hero. You are what is the epitome of what we have here at Life Vantage: belief, longevity, stick with it, perseverance. I'm like, this whole entire company reeks with the essence of perseverance and stick with itness. So that's kind of, I'm just rambling now. I'm sorry, Tanya.
No. So from the time you hit 6 to the time you hit 7, because I remember this morning you kept talking about bumping up against. You kept saying that term, bumping up against.
Oh, man.
I would love for you to kind of go there again, like that journey between 6 and 7. And I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And you guys, and this is real life here. You know, the everything in the body and the mind hates resistance. We just hate it because resistance usually means ouch. anything that you resist is like a pushback, and it's an ouch. And you get this resistance and this pushback as you're trying to walk forward in your journey. And so I hit Pro 6 probably a little more than 2 years ago. And, to walk forward. And the beautiful thing is, praise God, that I never went down. I never not qualified for Pro 6, but the journey to Pro 7 was so incremental, and it felt like every step was a push of resistance. And there's times I would just feel like I'm tired. I'm just exhausted. I feel like I'm just pushing up against resistance all the time. And then you get your team coming in and going, I'm so tired of the no's. And then that's resistance, even when your own team is resisting, feeling that resistance, and then they're resisting you too. And I was like, oh, but you know what? I found that narrative of going up against resistance, and that resistance means pain, and maybe that means this isn't for me. Maybe I should just kind of lay off the gas. I find that that's just literally the narrative that the enemy of your soul wants you to take, is that just fall back into just the easy street and just take the product and be on the product. And it's okay. You really don't need to share it that much. And if you grow slow, great, but I found out that resistance is actually the pathway to growth. And that every time you resist and then you persist through the resistance, when you resist and continue to persist, strength comes in your inner being. And every time you resist or you persist through the resistance, strength enters your soul. It literally is the pathway to growth, personal growth. For one, getting over your own fears, getting your own disappointments, that your own disappointment is your biggest resistance. This is our own biggest resistance right here. You don't need anybody else to resist you to be completely paralyzed. All you need is this resisting you, and you can be paralyzed. So pressing through that. And I bumped up against that for 2 years. And there's times I'm just like, I'm just tired. You know what I always say, Pro 6 doesn't suck. It does. I used to say that. Pro 6 doesn't suck. And it doesn't. The income on Pro 6 doesn't suck. And if that's all I get, that's all I get. And so I kind of almost had a little bit of a, like, I'm just kind of tired of the resistance and going. And then I had the other motto is, it's easier to give birth than raise the dead. It's the truth. It is. So I'm like, well, I've had 4 babies. I have 6 grandbabies so far out of 2 of my children producing offspring, and the rest of them are step grandchildren, but step loves as well. But I'm like, I'm a baby machine. I'm like, I know how to give birth. Okay, Becki, buck it up and keep giving birth, So I just kept pursuing. Then I'm just going to go for the new births, the new people, the new loves, and go through that resistance. But you guys, resistance really is the pathway to get you to that other side of growth. You've got to know that it is part of the journey. And when you do get through it, the strength and the belief that comes in you, you'll never go back. Once you break through resistance in one area, guess what? It's done. You don't have to go through that same wall. It'll be a new wall of resistance, but guess what? You're over here now. Then you're going to break through that. But then when you do, you're going to be out here again. So resistance, you guys, is like the picture of that guy pushing that stone, that big, huge rock up a hill. And he's like, I can't do it anymore. But he just goes one little increment at a time. And he looks back and goes, wow, I'm halfway up the hill, because you've gone through and you've come out stronger. Your belief is stronger. Your intention is stronger. And you've helped others as well. And you've built your story to press through those things. So anyway, is that kind of what you were thinking?
Yeah, I love that. I love the resistance is a pathway to growth, and persist through resistance. It
truly is. Persist to it. Mm-hmm.
So I think a couple Mondays ago as well, you had mentioned that 95%, I think, of the people that you brought in have been through social media.
Yes.
Are you just using Facebook? And I mean, talk to us about that, how social media has been through for you in growth.
Social media has just been absolutely gold for me. And it's I use it as a valuable tool, and it has become a tool for me. And I'm, being consistent. And I love using social media as a marketing tool, but also as just to let people know who I am and help them to know, love, and trust me. And if any of you do follow me, you know that I do a lot of live videos, and I've kind of even slowed down on my lives and my interviews lately. But normally I do at least 1 to 2 live interviewing people in the company. And I always choose somebody that's even sidelined to me, because I like to celebrate people's wins. I want them to tell their story. I want to build their business. Again, that's how it comes back on you, even though you're celebrating someone else's wins. But anyway, I've used social media in such a way that people will finally, they'll watch and they'll watch and they'll watch. And a year later, they'll be like, okay, you got to tell me about this. Something that I said may have, totally struck something inside of them. I post consistently. I post about my faith. I post about my family. I post, celebrations of just life. I post information and qualified stories about people's lives, about NRF2, NRF1. I really work hard to keep it compliant. It's gotten a lot tighter, and it's harder to keep it compliant on your walls to share stories. And I've been dinged many times. Eric knows me by my first name. I'm probably one of the highest followed by compliance on Facebook because I do so many lives. But I love that because it helps me help others. And I teach people what I've learned: rip and repeat. Rip and repeat means don't share somebody else's post to your wall. It means take their photo, copy their words, and post it on your wall as if it was all yours and you thought of it. Change a couple words, change the sentence structure so Facebook doesn't recognize it as the same post, and use it. I teach my team that if I see a post that I love that's getting a lot of good press, I copy it, I morph it just a bit, and I paste it as if I did it. LifeVantage, I would hope every single person in LifeVantage has the same mentality I do. Please copy my post, because if something that I said resonates with you, it's going to resonate with others. If it doesn't resonate with you, don't use it. And I don't post things that don't already first resonate in here. Never, here's a principle, never post just to post. Post because you have an inspiration come through you, or you had a thought, or you heard a story that you really need to share with your world because it resonated in you. Even though it is Facebook and it's kind of this, like you're reading this social media, there is an energy that flows through Facebook, and it flows through your page. And if you post negativity, people feel negativity, and you're going to start getting muted. But if you are positive and belief comes in a post, there's something about it. People actually feel that, and bam. This is, for example, somebody I didn't know, never liked my post, wasn't even a friend of mine on Facebook, somehow found me. And I thought I had this customer show up in my back office. I called him on the phone. I'm like, I don't know you. How did you find me? He found me on Facebook, and he's in Texas. And we finally friended each other on Facebook. And it's because he followed me, and something that he saw on my post resonated. He looked enough in my bio that he was able to somehow find my way. I'm BeckiTheBiohacker.com. By the way, that's where my LifeVantage site is. So he must have Googled BeckiTheBiohacker.com and came to my LifeVantage site and ordered. Guess what? He just upgraded to distributor yesterday from a person I'd never met in my life. That's just because consistency on social media. So yes, approximately 92, 93, I don't even know what percentage, but a higher percentage. My newest Pro 5 that just ranked Pro 5, she found me on Facebook, and she was a pastor's wife, and now she's a Pro 5 4 months later. So it is very important. Be consistent, be intentional, and get over yourself and get on a live. And if you stumble and cough and sputter over your words or spit on the camera, laugh at it and go, see, this is what live's all about, This is what it's like doing a live, we mess up, or the dog starts barking, or the doorbell rings or something. Well, it's live. People love it. The more authentic and real you are, and don't have to look beautiful. Go back on a few of my posts. There's times I get on like no makeup, out of bed, hair doing this, and I'm like, I'm on, doing a live on Facebook, and I'm like, I want you guys to know that I'm not perfect. I do get out of bed and look like the Wicked Witch of the West too, so I can, anyway, so that's a part of it. People want to like you. And when they like you, they want to know more about you. So just get on and be likable and be patient. I don't hunt people down, but I'll tell you what, if I see a friend, here's a Facebook tip for another one. You probably have lots of them. Maybe these are repeats, but if I see a friend or a friend's friend that all of a sudden has this ailment, I'll look and say, I don't mean to really be so bold and invasive, but if you're interested, I have something that's like all natural and I would love to just share you a video. It may or may not be for you, but let me share this live video if it's okay with you. Would you mind and take a look at this? Maybe it would help you, maybe it wouldn't, but you don't know what you don't know. I'll literally do that. Literally. I love people that much that I'll just be that bold on a private message and do that. So, that's just getting over your own your own ego of rejection. They didn't say yes to you before you sent them that message. Why are you afraid of them saying no to you now? They were a no before you sent the message. What do you have to lose, right? So that's all, again, getting over yourself and just loving people enough to be bold enough to do that. I don't sell them anything. I'm like, it may or may not be for you, but you don't know what you don't know. And I would love to at least expose you to this. How's that for an easy way to be able to present something to someone? And you could do that to anyone of your best friends, and just say, hey, there's this video going around. It's kind of been all refreshed and brand new. Have you seen this like amazing video that's out there right now? And just say, it may or may not be for you, but you don't know what you don't know. And I would love for you to at least take a peek at this. Think of ways that are just authentic and real. You're not a salesperson. You're wanting to just share information that could possibly change somebody's life.
I love that. Thank you. I'm also really curious when it comes, there's just so many different ways that people are presenting today, like whether it's Zoom, and our mindset has kind of gotten to a point where people might be intimidated by clicking on a Zoom link. So we're starting to do a lot of Facebook Live events. Home meetings are still there, but I find we're not doing as many of them. What do you find when it comes to presentations that are working best for your team? Or are you just doing a lot of interaction through Facebook Messenger?
We're trying to mix it all up because everybody, yes, and, there's people that you really need to get sitting down in front of. They actually they would rather have time to go have a cup of coffee with you than they would to sit down in front of a 30-minute presentation. They'd rather sit down and talk to you for 30 minutes. So you got to meet that person where they're at. Another person might say, you know what I do a lot, you guys? I actually say, do you have an iPhone? And they're like, well, yeah, actually I do. I'm like, can I FaceTime you? And I'll get on a FaceTime call and I'll go face to face with them. So they can see my face, we can talk face to face. It makes you feel like you're actually having coffee with someone. And if they have an iOS or something, I'm like, do you want to hop on Messenger? Let's do a face to face on Messenger. I do a lot of those. So that some people, but other people are like, I would love, I'll research it all day long. Send me an overview and I'll send them a canned overview. And I have several different versions of people like, I think this person's going to like that one. This person's going to like that presentation. And then we also do weekly live overviews that people can click on a link and come in, but I actually find less people come on to those, like visitors are more intimidated to click on something and think am I gonna be seen? What's a Zoom, So, but to send them something they can look at in the privacy of their own home, I'm finding that also is effective. That's when you get to the point of a long overview. I get a lot of customers just by showing them videos and getting them short videos and information and then sending them a quick order cart or something once I've heard their conversation, gotten into their conversation. Of course, you guys probably do the same. We do a lot of three-way messengers. Our three-way calls are 95% three-way messengers, not three-way phone calls. I probably get 1% of my team does three-way phone calls. We do three-way messengers. Very effective. Great way to train your downline how to interact with people as well. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. And are you doing Facebook Live events where you'll do the presentation through Zoom onto the event page? Have you done
no, we haven't done a lot of those at all. I love sounds like you've done some of those, and I can imagine those would be very, very effective.
Yeah, we're just starting to dabble in those because we feel like too, like you said, they're on Facebook anyway. So
Mhm.
they can just join this page. They have to be invited.
Yeah.
And so we know if they've said yes, and then you can see people that are viewing it as it goes on. So yeah, we're just starting to do that. But
Yeah, we actually haven't gotten to that point yet of doing an event and a live and event, because I'm not even sure what that, if it's through, is it through a Zoom platform? Is it straight up event? That you have to go event Facebook, but you need a Zoom that can
right.
can go into Facebook.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I think. That's one thing we, at least in Team Synergy, me and Marilee's team, at this point, we don't have the Zoom that streams into an event yet. I think some of our others have done that before. Actually, Michelle Lorenz has done that several times. But that's probably something we need to tap into more. Is it working well for you guys though, so far?
Yeah, we're loving it. I mean, we're just kind of getting going with it. But again, it's just another tool,
Yes.
another way to expose them to the.
Well, and that's it. You've got to have several different selections of how you'd go about this.
Right.
Truly.
Right.
Truly. That's excellent.
So we have about 5 minutes left, but I wanted to ask you too, what do you feel like is the most important thing when you bring a new distributor on? When you bring that new distributor, what's the most important thing in your mindset to really getting them going in the right direction?
I think one of the biggest thing is to find out, first of all, what do you want out of this? Are you wanting to really, we measure them. Are they, you walk, you run, or you fly? That's kind of, we go in those increments. You really want to just kind of ease into this? Or are you like, I want to be a pro 5 in 4 months? Where are you at with this? So we really try to sit down with each individual and go through what their desires are. And within our group, we have we have units we have a three-part system. So we just literally get on a Zoom call with them if they're out of area, which so many of mine are. I'll get on a Zoom call. I'll literally tutorial them right through our units and how to get in and watch these little 6-minute videos to get them started. And, just the same basics as you guys all do, get your list started. How's your list coming? And then we get them right plugged into training immediately once we've personally had that conversation. What's most important to you? Do you want to walk? Do you want to run? Or you want to fly? Because that's going to gear us up. You as a enroller, it gears you up to match their level, or at least help them cast a vision. And then in that same conversation, I love story. I love taking a person and helping build story. I love the story of a person. And I'm like, do you see the story that you've just built in your life? And that I can literally help lay out for them, with them, a story so that you can share. This is how this happened. This is how this happened. This is how this happened, and share it with enthusiasm, excitement. So we really work early on the story so that they have something to share and they feel confident about their first conversations. What are the first conversations you're going to be having with someone, and how to share this to get them feeling a little bit comfortable how to opening up a conversation with someone.
I love that. Story's everything, right? Because that builds trust.
It builds trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your story changes all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't use that same box story because it's going to grow. It's going to change. This month, your story may be different even than just that last month alone. So
Becki, let's just wrap up. What would you say to everyone that's on here and the people that'll watch the playback for these last 2 months of the year? Like, what's your best piece of advice on how to really wrap up the year strong and why it's so important?
I'll tell you, even today with what took place in LifeVantage stock, how it jumped up so fast, what we have here is a company that even Wall Street is looking at. Wall Street has paid attention of what we have here, that major, huge investors are looking at what we have. And, people look at it time, well, I'm about ready to enter into the holidays and to the busiest times of the years. And yet this company now is kind of in this wave that's kind of it's coming up. It's just it's not here yet, but it's pushing through the ocean, and it's about ready to come. And we just never know exactly when it's going to crest, when you're going to be on that wave that you're standing on your board surfing on. But right now we're there. We're in the paddle hard motion. And in history and network marketing companies, October, November are like the 2 biggest months of growth. People are making decisions and making life changes as they're coming towards the end of the year, maybe career changes, retirements happening. It really is a good time to be talking with people about the business opportunity. They're starting to think about, oh, it's going to be tax season pretty soon. This is actually a good opportunity. People do jump in at the end of the year to have a big tax write-off. They upgrade from basic or silver to platinum because it's a big tax write-off if they need a little extra tax write-off. So this is a really good time in the next 2 months to hit it even harder. Build your story so that when you do have a family gathering, you can just be in a natural way sharing your story of what this is doing for your life and for what it could do for your family too. So this is really, really a good season to accelerate and to really press in to the growth of this, to enter into. I mean, we're turning the digits. We're going 2020. We're going to be entering into some epic times. And I'm not going to say, well, I kind of just took my foot off the gas in the last 2 months of the year. I'll hit it again January 1st. Not with this company, you guys. Oh, no way. You need to get on and be like literally paddling as hard as you can. You need to be every Monday or Sunday night dialing down and going, who's in my list? Can I give you one last little tip about looking in your back office, no matter how many distributors you have? If you have a distributor who is inactive and hasn't done anything for a while, those are really, I got 4 totally inactive. They've been inactive for over a year, 4 distributors back completely active just this last month alone by just saying, if you haven't taken a look at this, you got to at least give it another look. You looked at it one time, look at it again. Reactivating people is really powerful right now because of what we have. You know, even a year ago, stock wasn't where it is now. Even to say, you guys, have you heard the BlackRock? You know, use these things to gain momentum. You guys keep swimming, keep paddling. I kid you not, keep paddling. You will be so glad you did. It will build your story. I would love to say that. I'd love to come back to Tanya's team and go, we built our story through November and through December, and we did it, and we ran for it. And holy cow, look at us now. You know, we pushed Tanya to Pro 8, and we went Pro 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6s ourselves. I mean, you guys, you realize it can be done. And here it is. Hashtag because I can. Why do you do this? Why do I do this? Because I can. Because I can change lives. Because I can share this. So when you have that, because I can, what's the last 2 words? I can. I can do this. I did, because I can was my hashtag back the first year after I started this company, and it's remained. Hashtag because I can. Mm-hmm. Do this, you guys, because you can, and because it's one of the strongest opportunities we'll ever have to stand on. Oh, I'm so blessed to have talked to you guys tonight. Oh, bless you, every one of you, with prosper you, and just may God just totally bless this team and bless Tanya with all the leadership that you guys would ever need to bring you wherever you want to go. You can do it. This is a place, it's the platform, it's a business, it's a company you can do it in. Go, go, go.
Go, go, go. So good. Thank you so much, Becki. It was just such an honor to have you on. Thank you for saying yes to being with us.
Absolutely.
Guys, I'm going to wrap it up with, we usually wrap up our team Zoom, Becki, in a prayer. And I want you guys just to feel this as a prayer. It's a part of my devotional from today. And it does end in a prayer, but I just think the entire thing is good as a prayer, especially with what Becki talked about tonight. I just think it goes hand in hand. So here we go. It says, I don't know what delays you've experienced in the past, you're currently facing, or will come your way in the future. But I do know this. God doesn't promise to spare us from pain, but he cares for us in the pain. And if we remain patient through the pain, he will be faithful to prove his delays are always on purpose. Without knowing what you're going through, rest in this truth. If you can trust him with your eternity, you can trust him with your right now. God, thank you for your faithfulness. Forgive us when we're impatient for you to move. We know that you will prove your purpose in your timing, even if that timing does not align with our desires. Give us patience and perseverance in our waiting seasons. Help us to stop dreading seasons of delay and delight in your promise to put your glory on display. We love you and we trust you, and that includes trusting your timing. Amen. It's so good. It's so good, you guys. It's never going to happen when we want it, but we just have to trust it, and we have to keep moving forward, and we have to keep plugging in, listening to calls like this and being fed by people like Becki, because it's only equipping you for that moment when God's timing is now. And then you're going to be ready for the now, because you never stopped pressing in and you never stopped persisting through the resistance that you're getting. So I love you guys so much. I'm so proud of you for coming on tonight. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much. And thank you again, Becki. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on Pro 7. All right, everyone have a great night. Bye, guys.